Whoa. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Yaptime. What? I'm on the ocean now. What the blue? Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about, or at least I think so, I'm gonna talk about boredom because I watched Johnny Harris's video about boredom the other day, and I was like, "What the fuck? I didn't know what boredom really was, I guess." And so my definition of boredom, or or what I understand it as, changed like fundamentally, and that was kind of interesting because I don't know. I clicked on the video thinking like, oh yeah, I know some stuff about boredom, and like, oh yeah, I know that like I've heard that boredom creates creativity, or like not create, but like opens creativity sometimes. And I was like, yeah, I know stuff about boredom, and then the more I watched, I was just like, oh, I know nothing about boredom, and I didn't even know how boredom felt, right? Because um, I thought that the feeling that I felt, of like existential uh, dread or whatever, like the sudden attack of just like feeling like there is no point or whatever, like it was just, I don't know. I highly recommend looking at the video. I'm gonna try to remember to link it in the description for anyone who might want to watch that in the future, if people have forgotten about Johnny Harris in the 10 years when this video might be relevant or something. Um yeah, so the funny thing about like boredom, like I do agree with him because he was talking about like how boredom is like a primal emotion, right? It was like we had it back in the primal days, where, or this is at least what I remember. Like, this is a really bad like rephrasing of the entire video, because like I don't have a script right now. I don't have any notes. I only have like pictures in my head of the video. So my take, or my uh retelling of whatever happened in the video is not correct necessarily. It's how I remember it. And yeah, I don't even know if I finished the whole video. I think I have like 5 minutes left, because I got my friend over yesterday when I was eating breakfast and watching the rest of the video, and I think I have like 5 minutes left, or 10 minutes. I don't know. It was a pretty long video. It was like 45 minutes long, I think. Um, and yeah, we were gonna watch Doctor Who, so I was more interested in watching Doctor Who than the rest of the video. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe because he came to the, like, I watched uh up until like he started talking about like tips that he had found to work great for him, like accepting it, and like uh when when you're feeling bored, like feeling more, like try to feel how it feels, like observe how it feels. And then the one was like learning to accept it, like when you're in the state of being bored, like accepting it, or like feeling what it feels like, and then like, okay, this is how it feels, and this will be over in like soon. And like not being like, oh, I hate that I feel so existential right now. Oh my god, I just wanna. Because he was also talking about like using your phone for like distractions or like um, curing the boredom, and like how that, like what that does to your brain. And I don't know, I feel like I kind of have learned some of those things through me doing, like, me observing my behavior and like seeing like, okay, it improves if I do this, and it does the opposite if I do this. And like deducing uh, like seeing the patterns of like, yeah, if I stay in, I don't know, I might be like generating remembering or memories, that's what it's called. uh but yeah, I don't know, maybe I don't have very much about, maybe I don't, yeah, maybe I don't have very much to talk about when it comes to boredom, so I might not have it called like boredom, because that might seem like a boring uh, episode. Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's probably boring to watch this if you don't like already know me from somewhere, or like if you don't if you don't care about me as a person, you probably wouldn't like find this video interesting to look at, because it's probably like 3 hours long. And like this rambling guy in his bed, like what the hell? Who is this man's? Um, yeah. Well, another thing I was like default network moding, default mode networking, right? In here in my bed, I was laying here and like thinking about stuff, like he was like the, I don't know, Johnny Harris mentioned default mode network, and I was like, yo, that's right, that's the thing where you're like doing nothing and your brain is doing things and stuff like that. And so I was like, yo, okay, I'm gonna do that, because I was like, oh, I want to play Balatro, but then I was like, no, I gotta default mode network my shit up. um I don't know, it was fun because, oh, there's so many thoughts that just like fly by, and like some thoughts stick around longer than the others, and some just like sap by, and some sting, right? Some memories just like, "Gah!" And then they're gone, kind of like you feel like, oh no, why did I do that 7 years ago? Oh, and then they're gone, or maybe you remember them for a little bit longer. I don't know. Yeah, one of those, like, what I have I had a moment where it was like I fumbled, or at least I think there was this woman. I don't know if she was interested in me or just wanted to like have a friend or whatever. But maybe like a year ago, I was at the climbing gym with my friends, a few of my friends, and two women walked up to me and asked for like if they could borrow some chalk, right? And I was like, yeah, yeah, sure. And I afterwards I would like go up to them and like chat with them. Uh, and I don't know, we chatted, and then afterwards, like a little later, we would go home. Me and my friends would go home, and yeah, I don't know. I found it a little like, yo, that was interesting. Uh, the fact that they came up to me and like, I don't know. Um, Another thing was like a few weeks later. Um, no, I think I met them again sometime afterwards. I don't remember if I did or not. I might have met them somewhere, like either at the same climbing gym, another like later sometime, or another climbing gym. Anyway, I don't. It doesn't really matter. But one day I'm at my local store right after I had been climbing with my friend, and we were like going around the store and looking for ingredients to make some kind of food, because I the what I liked most about uh, climbing with my friend was afterwards we would go home to meet when we yeah, because it would often be like, because there's a climbing gym right next to where I live, basically. And so when we were there and when we were finished there, we would go home to me and make some banger food, and that was very fun. Um, and then the one time we were at the store to buy stuff, the woman, like because the I don't know, there were two women who came up to me in the climbing gym. One had like brown hair, and I don't remember much more because I remember like the other woman had like very nice like blonde hair and was, I don't know, she was very pretty, so I was like, oh, okay. Um and then like the blonde woman comes, like I see her in the corner of my eye, like I think she might have seen me, because she was like, she walked into the aisle where I was like looking at stuff and like stood right next to me kind of, and I was like, oh, okay, I can see her, but she didn't interact with me. Okay, does that mean she probably didn't remember me? That's what I was thinking. And then I walked to a different aisle, and then she followed, and then like I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. Uh, do I do I talk to her? She looks too pretty. She probably does not remember me. She probably does not care about me. Like I was like, what are her intentions right now? Because like the problem with like I have a lot of problems with understanding people's like intentions. Like it's really hard for me to understand what people mean when they don't say what they mean, and even when they say what they mean, sometimes I don't believe them, because some people would say that they mean something different than what they actually mean, because if they actually meant, I don't know, in some circumstances people say that, like say what they mean, but then they actually like deep down, even if they don't know it themselves, they mean something else, or they do it because of something else. And that is like one of the problems I have with like intention, like understanding people's intention. Like it's not always like they say what they intend and that's actually what they intend. Sometimes they intend something completely different. Like if they, like if someone wants to like manipulate you, right, they wouldn't say I'm trying to manipulate you, right? That's not how they would say that, because then you would be like, oh no, I don't want to be manipulated, and then you don't like listen to what they say or whatever. And so in that circumstance they would have that, like they would act differently, or they would say that they're doing something else than trying to manipulate you, because yeah, I don't know. And so I'm standing there like, oh, okay, she's not talking to me, so I'm not gonna talk to her. And so I went, I just continued going around the store, like I didn't interact with her. And then when me and my friend has have gathered all the ingredients and stuff, and we're done with in the store, we go to the cashier, or the cash out place, yeah, and she's standing right in front of me in the line, and I was like, uh, oh shit, okay, do I just not say anything to her? And then, like, oh, this is the part where it becomes like cringe. This is the part where I like, when I think back, I just go like, no, why did I even, why didn't I, and then I just try to block it out. Like, I haven't seen her again, and I'm not sure if that's because she stopped going to the store, or if she uh was too embarrassed, or yeah, she was too embarrassed to keep going to the same store, or if I have blocked out her face from my mind or whatever, because of the mental burden that I put on myself or whatever. Um, so yeah, she's standing right in front of me in the cashier store. I'm like waiting for her to like um no, I'm waiting for uh my stuff to get scanned, and like uh yeah, she was like paying for the groceries and stuff, and when when I went to like pick up the grocery store things, um she would she was standing right next to me, and at the end, like right as she was about to leave, I asked her like, wait, are you the woman who was at the climbing gym? And she looked at me like, yes, yes, I was. Yeah, yes, I am. Like, I took it like she sounded hostile, and I didn't understand why at the moment, because like, yeah, I'm delusion. No, I'm oblivious to that, I guess. And then I was like, oh, do you live around here? And like, yeah, I live in this place. And I was like, oh. And then I looked at her for, it felt like forever. And I was like, what do I do now? And like, and I just kept staring at her. And I was like, okay, have a good day." Or I don't, I think that's what I said. Something along the lines of that. And then she left, and I was like, okay. And then I looked back, and it seemed like everyone was like everyone in line was like looking at me, even the cashier. And the cashier, I think I recognized the, yeah, the cashier works there every now and then. And I was just like, okay, that was the wrong move, right? And then my friend, he was like he he's notoriously like not, he doesn't, I don't know if he doesn't understand his emotions, or if he genuinely doesn't feel emotions. But I'm pretty sure he doesn't understand his emotions, because he did usually say like, he usually didn't um, react to his emotions if he had. And he said that he didn't have very many emotions, but I think it, like, my interpretation of that was that he didn't understand his emotions. Like, he still felt them, but he didn't understand what they meant or how to express them or whatever. And I was telling him like, "Oh no, I shouldn't have done that," and like I was cringing the whole time afterwards. Like, oh, I was replaying that moment of like she getting upset, or the at least what I thought was she getting upset that I didn't talk to her in the store. I talked to her right at the end when she was about to leave, and she was packing her stuff like really angrily, and I was like, "Oh, she looks a little mad." So I was like, okay, maybe now is the time that I t- uh, like say that. Oh yeah, hey, I recognize you. But that, no, that was the complete opposite time of when I should have. recognized her or told her that I recognized her. But I recognized her from the second she entered my peripheral vision. But I don't know. She was I don't know. I was like, nah, she's too cute. She doesn't notice me probably. Like I don't. I every now and then I wonder like what would have changed about me if I hadn't fumbled. But I think it's like for the better because because she seemed very like normal, if that makes sense. Like she seemed very like healthy and like a person who like I don't know, like not not someone who was like me, who was like, I'm going to isolate myself to make art, and I will act like a fool on the internet. Like I don't know, she seemed very cool and stuff, but I was like, no, pretty woman probably doesn't care about me, and then yeah, I don't know. The moral of the story: never interact with women. I guess. I guess maybe. No. Moral of the story: we all do cringe stuff that we probably want to forget, but it's interesting to remember because, like, I think of that every now and then. I'm like, I wonder where she is now. Like, who? Because I didn't get to know her very much, and the tiny bit of information that I did hear has been completely like erased to like for my consciousness to be like not taunted by that as much. And I'm pretty sure that if she had seen some of the stuff that I was creating at the time, she would be weirded out and I would feel even less about myself. So maybe it was a good thing that I didn't uh, like uh, get involved in whatever, if it was a friendship or whatever. Like I don't understand if people are flirting with me or if they're yeah, I don't know, because um there was this girl who came up to me the other like a few weeks ago who said who um like I came back from the bathroom after, yeah, I was at this place where often go to. It's like every Monday now. They have like arts and crafts stuff, and they have like I don't know. It's a place to gather people, I guess. Um, and I was there. I was like drawing some stuff, drawing in my sketchbook, and I went to the toilet. And then when I came back, they were sitting right next to where I was sitting, and one of the girls were like, uh are you single, like randomly out of nowhere, or like, are you single? And I was like, okay, how do I respond to this funnily? And then I was like think so I went like quiet for a second, and I was like, no, I'm an album. And then she laughed, and then she was like, do you want to go on a double date with my friend? And I was like, uh how do I say no in a, like I wanted to say like I'm not gonna go on a double date with someone I don't know, right? Because like I don't care about people. I don't. Well, maybe I don't care about people. I don't know. Maybe. But like I didn't know who she was talking about. Like who was this friend? Um, and I was like, I told her that I'm not looking for any anything right now, and she answered, but my friend is. And I was like, okay. And then I laughed a little bit, and then I don't remember if there was another line, but she said like, like afterwards, she was like, "Oh, we played Truth or Dare," and I was like, "Yeah, okay, well, if you actually did that, if you actually were playing like Truth or Dare, because she was with another friend, um, and they were playing ping pong, I believe, and until like I was pissing at the toilet, and then when I came back, they were at the table where people were eating and stuff, and then I don't know, it was very uncomfortable because it was just like so sudden. Like I was not prepared to be asked about my uh relationship status. Like, bro, yeah, I'm single, but that's not because I can't find a, well, it's no, it's because I'm not looking for a girlfriend or anything. Like I'm not interested in a relationship right now, because I feel like if I get into a relationship right now, I'm like right now, like if I were to go and look for someone, that would make it harder for me to find someone that I actually want to like come like want to end up in a relationship with, because I don't think I want to like go and date a lot of people. I think I want to experience, like I want to be around a lot of people and then like develop good bonds with people, and then like if there is like a uh, more deeper connection than just friendship, then it might be like it might be something that I pursue. But until I find like someone who is like a good friend, and then it turns into like a uh like something more, I think that's the only time that I would care about a relationship, right? Because I've been in like very short relationships. I think my longest lasting relationship has been 2 months, because I don't know, the last times every time I've like in quotation mark tried uh to be in a relationship, it has been through like, oh yeah, I want to be in a relationship, and like, oh yeah, I want to, yeah, and then I find someone, and just like instantly like, yo, you want to be in or not actually like instantly, but I don't know, um and then we realize like, oh yeah, we don't actually like each other or whatever, or yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I don't want to do that again, because it like, I don't know. I don't have a drive for that right now. Um and yeah, what was I think talking about? Yeah, at least the oh yeah, because she said like, oh yeah, we were playing Truth or Dare, and then I was like, well, just one round of Truth or Dare, because they weren't playing it before and they weren't playing it afterwards, I believe. Um so I'm pretty sure she said Truth or Dare, but she, and like her intentions were probably genuine, right? Like I've at least how I understood the reason for why she said it was Truth or Dare was because I rejected her offer, and she might have uh, been a little like embarrassed for asking, maybe, and so she automatically might have like, oh, how can I save this? We were playing Truth or Dare. Don't look into it. Don't think about it. But they told the wrong person to not ask and to not think about it, because that's the thing I do. I think about it, right? Because if I don't understand their intentions, I'm going to reflect on that moment for a lot longer than if I feel like I understand their intentions. And anytime someone, like, I don't know, I feel every now and then that, like, I get hit on by people, and I'm just like, I don't know how to respond, and therefore I'm just gonna, uh, I don't know, I'm just gonna sit here and uh, ponder, I guess, because I don't know, I don't understand, um, like, are they actually hitting on me, or is this my ego or my brain, like, wanting them to hit on me, right? Like, am I interested in them and I interpret uh their interaction as like, oh, they are interested in me, but in reality I am interested in them, right? Like, I don't this is kind of what I talked with, like, a therapist about, some time ago. Like, I was talking about, like, how I felt like random people just, like, suddenly being interested in me, and I was like, I don't understand why. And she told me, like, is it maybe that you're interested in them, and your brain wants them to be interested in you, and so you interpret the thing as, like, they wanting to be, like, I don't know. And I was kind of like, oh god, okay, maybe that makes sense. But there were also things that didn't make sense, because I don't know, there were people who I didn't want to hit on me, and that I felt like were hitting on me, and I don't know, people who made me uncomfortable. And I don't know, I feel like it was a mindset that I'm happy that I kind of realized could be, like, the me projecting my, like, projecting, yeah, my interest in someone onto them, and, like, or onto their behavior or whatever, and, like, seeing them being interested in me, or whatever. I don't know. I'm unsure. But yeah, I was yeah, I feel like I often, like, I have a really hard time distinguishing someone's sexuality, right? And it is like, um every now and then I feel like I the people that I get most confused about, when, like, I feel like people hit on me, are, like, men, because I feel like some guys sometimes keep hitting on me, and I'm just like, uh is this, like, my brain wanting this, or is this them, like, I don't know, it's because I've been down that path for a long time, like, uh I've I have questioned my sexuality for a long time, and I have, like, experimented and stuff, and I've found out that I'm not I'm pretty sure I'm not sexually attracted to men, because I have never, like, seen, like, naked men and had the same brain response as when, like, even just a clothed woman, like a pretty woman with clothes, right? And anytime I see, like, a picture of a cock, I'm just like, grr. And it's like, I don't know, it it's a I don't I don't know, I don't find dicks appealing at all, and don't I don't know I don't know. So I but maybe like sometimes I do kind of like find men very attractive, and it's kind of like I don't know, my emotions get like mixed and like, oh my god, this man is so fucking handsome, and I'm like, yo, and then I maybe my um maybe I misunderstand my brain's signals, because sometimes I do feel like, yo, I don't know, I maybe I am like pan romantic or whatever, and then um like sexually I'm straight maybe, because I don't know, I wouldn't, I don't know. No, I guess future me will have more time to reflect, and so or experience, I guess. So when I look back at this in like 10 years or 20 years, if I'm still alive by then, um maybe I will have a, maybe this will be like a pointer towards whatever I end up being or thinking or whatever. um yeah, not sure. Hmm. Yeah, now I'm not even thinking, I'm just looking around. um yeah, do I have anything else to talk about? Yeah, well, I was at the I went another time to the improv thingy, that I was at, the one like a week ago or whatever. And yeah, it was pretty fun. It was a lot more people, and it was a lot more, I don't know, it was more to think about, because I don't know, my brain was trying to interpret all the people, and I got kind of stressed out because there were too many people, kind of. Yeah, for my brain to like think properly, and so I was kind of like not able to feel the flow or whatever. I there were some characters in the improv scenes that I were able to play with like a little bit of like flow, like not having to think about everything that I do, and more just react, or like not react, well, maybe reacting, but also just performing, if that makes sense. Like it felt so much like it, the improv, I've found out that it's probably very beneficial for me to improve at, because there are not many things where I like not many skills that I try to learn that involves other people in the same way as in improv, because a one man's improv show might be interesting, but it's like the things that makes improv fun for me is the react, like the uh, is the interaction between different people. And I think I'm in the like usually in the beginning of stuff, I'm very slow when it comes to learning stuff or understanding stuff compared to like the average person. But then when I start to gain traction, like when I start to understand the basic concepts, I have already kind of been spending brain power on the more complex stuff in the background. And so when I unlock the more uh, simple stuff, that is when I suddenly take off, and I'm just like, yo, I understand stuff now because this makes sense and this makes sense because this happens when this happens, and like I see the connections more clearer than when I haven't learned the basic stuff. And I tend to learn the basic stuff way later than the average person, I feel like. Because I, just like with saxophone, I started learning the saxophone and then I was like, okay, why don't my saxophone sound like it should, like according to how the saxophone sounds in everyone else's recordings and stuff. And then I was like going through a lot of different possibilities. Like maybe it's the mouthpiece, maybe it's the reeds, maybe it's the uh, problems with the saxophone itself. Maybe it's the way I like the amount of spit on the reed. Maybe it's the way I mounted the thing. Maybe it's the way I'm holding it. Maybe it's my posture. Like I'm noticing like very many variables that could be the problem, and then when I find the problem, it is like it makes so much sense suddenly. And then I've also been through a whole lot of different things, right? I've learned about uh how to maintain my saxophone uh through like random things, through like I've been asking ChatGPT for a lot of help because ChatGPT has like infinite patience. And like when you're trying to learn something and you're trying to like understand like what does this do, what does this do, and yeah, I don't know, it's very important that the person or the where you're learning, where you're being taught, like who you're being taught by, has enough patience to answer all of the things that you are questioning. Because if they even just one time say like, oh, just find out yourself, right, that shows that okay, I can't ask them stupid questions, so I'm not going to ask them any questions, is usually what ends up for me. Like if I can't ask you one question, I can't ask you any questions, and therefore it's really important for me to uh like be taught by someone who's very patient. And I can't like I was supposed to be uh like mentored by one of the guys at the 3D studio when I was learning, and I didn't I don't know, didn't feel comfortable in asking the guy that I was supposed to be taught by, because he was not a patient guy. He would lash out if there was a loading screen slightly longer than what he wanted it to be, or if a key press was different, he would lash out. And like he would lash out at the smallest things because he was so stressed, right? He had so much responsibility for so long and had so much, like he was overworked like crazy for many years, like 80 years of like constant pressure, and it just ramped up more and more. um and he never got a break. Basically, he might have gotten like week yeah, he might have gotten like vacations and stuff, but those didn't really help him for long, because I don't know, he was also like severely addicted to caffeine. And yeah, so and I did feel some of the things, like I experienced some of the ways he was acting like firsthand the other day when I was like I had been I've been cutting out coffee for a long time, And then I've been like introducing it slowly, like in small frame, like time frames, like 1 or 2 days where I drink coffee and then I wait. But the last week I had been drinking coffee for like every day, I think, for the whole week. And then this week I was like, okay, I'm gonna drink coffee on Monday and then I'm gonna stop because I need to chill out because I began like having a hard time sleeping and I had a hard time like waking up because of like the caffeine withdrawals or stuff. Like when I didn't have, like, before I drank my first cup of coffee in the day, I would be so drained. And so I felt like, okay, this is the addiction starting because it only takes like 2 to 3 days, I've heard, for your brain to adapt to the caffeine and like create more receptors. So you need more, um, like your tolerance increases because your brain is so quick at like creating more receptors. Uh, yeah, but anyway, I didn't feel comfortable asking him for help or whenever I had any questions, so I asked another guy who I knew was way more patient. And he because I really liked that guy because he was like, I could joke around with him, and I like he understood some of the jokes that I were saying, but he also found it very funny when he didn't understand what I was joking about. But the mentor guy that was actually supposed to be taught by, he didn't understand any of what I was talking about, and I didn't understand any of what he was talking about. And so, like, for the longest time, I wanted to get more comfortable around him. And I remember the first Christmas table, I was so like, I was like, oh, okay, wait, hopefully I don't end up. Well, no, I was like, okay, I hope I end up on the team with him because we were like given teams and stuff, and like we're supposed to do like tasks and stuff. And I was like, oh, I hope I get on his team so I can like understand him better or like learn to understand like how he thinks. And I learned a lot about how he thinks, um, from that, and I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I don't know. I just kind of got afraid of him because he kept telling me that I wasn't built for this job or whatever, and like I didn't fit in there, and like I don't know, and I didn't feel so either because I was told that I don't know enough times to that I didn't feel like I was a part of there, and I felt like after a while I felt like everyone just didn't want me there because I stopped being able to do my job and I stopped being able to focus, and I everything just felt like it was tearing apart or whatever. And I don't know, I realized like when I was learning saxophone, like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna yeah, because I joined like two Discord servers for like saxophone or jazz or whatever, learning about that, where there were a lot of people who like play saxophone and stuff. And I tried asking for help there, but people were kind of doing the same thing as I've seen in like Blender Discord servers, where in like a complete beginner will ask for help, and then a another beginner will tell them like, oh yeah, you need to do these and these stuff or these and these things, because that beginner trying to help has heard from someone else that that is correct, and the person who is asking for help doesn't know that that other person is also a beginner. And so it's like they might think that, okay, this person who helped me is correct and I need to listen to this person, but that person might like lead them down a different path, or like what they don't need or whatever, and they might give them the same mindset as the other beginner might give the new beginner the same mindset, and might like lock them into a bad, or like a not the mindset that they probably need. And like one thing is like people thinking UV unwrapping is hard, because I hear a lot of people saying that UV unwrapping is difficult and it's like confusing and stuff. And I think that is one of those things where another beginner has told another beginner who has told another beginner, and like in the chain they've not understood the core message of what the original person they were told about, like who told them about UV unwrapping. Like the person who knew about UV unwrapping might have said like, it might seem a little complicated, but it's not actually that complicated if you think about it in a certain way. And then like if the beginner wasn't able to think about it in that specific way, they might have only heard like, or they might have only understood like the UV unwrapping seems difficult because it is difficult, because they didn't understand it, and that must mean that it's very difficult. And then if they tell another person who's like another beginner that, oh yeah, this is a very difficult thing, and then they try it out and like, oh, I don't understand this either, this that must mean it's difficult. And then it goes, it's like a boulder, right? You like start the boulder of like, UV unwrapping is a difficult thing because it's so confusing. But it's confusing if you don't sit down and like listen to what it is and what it does, and like try to actually understand what it does, instead of sticking with the idea of it being difficult, because it isn't. If it is difficult, if something is like I genuinely believe that if something is difficult, that must that usually means that, so like I'm either missing some information about the thing, or I'm missing, so something is missing, right? Like either knowledge or a mindset or practice or uh yeah perspective, I guess. I don't know. Because when some people find something easy, for example, if a person who has never touched 3D in their entire life, if they have been like if they've done 2D drawing for a long time and like really talented at that, they might if they get into 3D modeling and like making characters and stuff, they might have a much easier time texture painting a character and making it look great than a person who has like made 3D models for a long time, trying to learn 3D character modeling and like trying to texture it, right? It might seem like, why do I have a harder time than this person? I should have an easier time because I have a lot of experience with 3D software and like 3D stuff. Why is this 2D artist better than me in such a short amount of time? And that is kind of like, because just because no, knowledge isn't disconnected, in my opinion. Like everything is connected in some way, and the brain is basically a network of connections, and the brain will see connections, and everyone has a different have different connections, right? That's at least what I believe. And so the connections that one person sees will not be able to be seen exactly the same way for another person. And the person who had been drawing and like really good 2D artist for a long time, they're gonna see, like they're gonna recognize like, yo, this is just like 2D drawing when they're texture painting a character. But a person who has never like painted, or like even in real life, or like 2D on digital and stuff, like they won't have a reference, like they won't have a information reference of like, oh yeah, this is just like this other thing, right? Because they've not done something like that before, and therefore it must be, therefore it might be more difficult, because they don't have, um they haven't already learned that prior, right? They don't already understand the core concepts, or the mindsets that you build up by drawing or painting and stuff, and therefore it might seem like painting and drawing is harder for that person, or more difficult for that person who hasn't drawn and stuff. But it doesn't, I believe that it doesn't necessarily mean that it's more difficult, like a more difficult thing to learn for that. Well, no, it's not a generally more difficult thing to learn, but for that person it is, because they haven't, I don't know. And I don't know what to, uh yeah, I don't know. Oh my god, it's soon time. I think I'm gonna have to go now, because my friend is coming over in like 1 hour, maybe 1.5 hours, maybe. So I'm gonna go and take a shower and play some saxophone. Yup, I couldn't think of any more things to say. So yeah, see you in the next one, probably, if I don't die. Yeah.